Today we're going to start in the first lecture with programming. So I will going to tell you about Python programming today. What is Python programming and why we're going to learn this Python programming only, where a lot of programming languages are available for data engineering. Normally for data engineering, we use Python programming, Java programming, and Scala programming as well. In data engineering and big data applications, we use this mainly these three programming languages. Java programming because it's an evergreen programming language and it support in all the platforms. Platform portability is there, right? We use Java. Scala is uh, recently we started using Scala because the Spark framework that in our syllabus we're going to see in a upcoming lectures module. Spark framework is completely written in a Scala language, which is again similar to the Java programming, but there are few similarities are there between Java and Scala, and Scala is more faster. So that's why we are using Scala also. But the Python programming, people are using Python programming because of easy in a syntax, easy to learn, and dynamic natures. What do you mean by this easy to learn? Python programming, anyone can learn nowadays who are not from a computer science background or not from engineering background also. Python programming having syntax is easy. So is syntax is easy there. You will get a lot of resources for this, and lot of dynamic behavior you can see in Python programming. You can use it for data engineering. You can use for data analysis as well. And obviously, you can use it in data science for writing models. So a lot of libraries are available here that you can use it to write a code to perform data engineering, data analysis, data science, writing script, front end, back end, both. So this is about a small idea about Python programming, and you can use this Python programming, and in our syllabus, we're going to learn the Python programming. For that, what are the software we are supposed to use? Python 3.9 version. Earlier days, there were mainly two versions were available, Python 2 and Python 3. Okay. But Python 2 is completely deprecated from the market because some of the syntax of Python 2 won't work in a Python 3. For example, for printing, if you want to print anything on the screen in Python 2, you were writing like this. Okay, print. Okay, you were writing like this in Python 2, but Python 3 realized that in other programming language, whatever we write in a double quote. So we should write like this. So that's the reason Python 2 is completely deprecated, and if in current version, if you try to run this Python 2 syntax in Python 3, it will give an error. It won't work. I'm going to show you as well. So Python 2 is completely deprecated. If anyone asks in the interview why you are using Python 3, not Python 2, so you can just tell them that Python 2 is completely deprecated from the market and we are using Python 3. So the software that we are supposed to use in the programming lectures, so we have to install Python 3.9 version onward the software about 3. Anaconda is one more software, Anaconda Jupyter. So this Anaconda Jupyter will going to help in writing the Spark code, machine learning code, and data analysis. Everything we can do it in Anaconda Jupyter. Then you can install this editor as well. PyCharm, Spider. So any one of these we're going to see. So these are the three software requirement, and obviously, yeah, Notepad. You can use any editor as well, Notepad, Sublime. Just like a text editor in your Mac or in a window. So this is about the requirement to learn. Now, for installing Python, you just have to go to the any browser and search for python.org. Okay, and click. So as you click on python.org, you will get this screen. So in this screen, you can see about, download, documentation. The best thing about Python is what, like, Python will not only provide you the setup software, but in this tutorial you will get means in this website you will get the tutorial as well, the documentation from the Python genuine resource. It's a resource provided by the Python only, so you can follow it and you can learn as well. Okay, for example, you click on this documentation. Once you click on this documentation, click on Python doc. So as you click on Python doc, go to the tutorial and you will get all the syntax as well. Okay, these are the different these are the complete Python resource. You will get it here. You can start learning and practicing from here as well. For example, let me click on this using Python. So you can see the syntax. They will going to tell you how it's working. So every detail you can get it from here. Python doc Python org, which is a Python document given by Python org. In Python, whatever we're going to learn, pandas, NumPy libraries that in our syllabus we have. If you can see here, Python packages, pandas, NumPy, right? So these are the libraries available in a Python. Those are also having resources are available. Python org, pandas org, NumPy org. We're going to see that. But today, let's start with the setup. So for that, you just have to click on download, and this now Python 3.10 is available. You can see a Python 3.9 plus cannot be used on Windows 7 and earlier. So it's using on Windows 10 only. So you can click on this and we can start uh, installation. As in my system, it's already installed. So if you can share a screen, we can do it in your system. Do you want to share a screen so we can just go through this link and we can download it?
So I'm actually doing Zoom on my iPad and I have my other laptop that I'm using for coding.
Okay.
And I already have this Python in that. So I kind of know a little bit of Python also. So I already have Python installed and I was using, but I don't have I was using actually command line to run Python.
Okay. But yeah, so we can also learn here like how you can write down in the notepad and you can run those code.
Yeah.
Let me show you. So for downloading and installation, you can click on this. Once it completely downloaded, okay, you have to just run this setup. Before
I also have Python in my Mac, but I think for Mac I don't have to install anything, right? It comes pre-installed.
Yeah. because nowadays some of the software might need Python for their uh,
Yeah, that's what I
supporting
think.
file. Yeah. So as you click on this setup file, so you can get the screen, smart screen can't be reached, and then you can click on this run button. As you click on this run button, you will get this option. So now don't go ahead directly. You before going ahead, you just have to add this path. Add
Path.
Python 3.10.2 path means this will help Python to set an environment variable, system environment variable, so that
Yes.
in the command prompt you can run the program, and
Mhm.
your system can identify where the Python is installed, or Python software setup file is there. So we have to do
I
this.
see.
If you do not do this, then you have to do that step manually. You have to set the path manually by going into the environment variable and then Python home and all. But why should we do that? In easy way,
Yeah.
we can just select this checkbox, and as you select the checkbox, click on this install now, and just click on next. So the installation will be going to be complete. Okay.
I
Once
see.
this installation is complete, you just click on this command prompt, window plus R button, command prompt, you can click it, and then you can
Mhm.
just type Python over there and press enter. So right now it's showing Python is not recognized. So let me do the setup once.
Okay.
So I'm just doing again installation. Let me show you. So I just add Python and I click on install now. Yes. It will take few minutes to install the Python.
Mhm.
Now you see that before that, when I was running Python, it was giving me error. Python
Yep.
do not recognize as internal and external command. But as I
Mhm.
complete the installation and I type Python here, now it is giving me the detail that Python 3.10 is now available, and it is released recently only. Python 3.10 released on October 4. You can see the date, October 4, 2021, and you can start learning Python in the command prompt as well as in the notepad file or any text editor. How we can do that, that also I will going to explain you. So I
Sure.
will suggest you you go through the document for learning because it's a genuine site, and you can learn from here as well. So we'll go for Python docs tutorial. You can follow it as I remember the Python, so I can explain you, but in case if anything you want to follow in future, you can go through it. So
Sounds.
yeah, so let's start with this. Okay, so now in this command prompt, suppose if you want to do any arithmetic operations, so you might be already aware, as you said. So when you want to do in Python arithmetic operation, like addition, multiplication between any number, how you can do that? You just type here 2 plus 2, okay, and you can just press enter here. So you can see it will give you 4, right? And
Yes.
similarly you can do it like 2 divided by 2, 1, 2 into 3, right? It's giving you the output when you multiply or doing this arithmetic operation. This is about the simple arithmetic operation that we were doing here. What if you want to do, if you want to save this data, or if you want to assign the value, the output generated by this arithmetic operation to some variable, how you can do that? So let's take one variable, sum equal to 10 plus 9. Okay. Now, are you getting here any sum?
No, because it's being stored in a variable, right?
Yes, correct. So it's been stored in the variable sum. Now, if you want to check the value of that variable sum, you just type sum and press enter. So now you see it's giving you the value of the sum. Either you can
See.
see the value of sum by just type the sum variable here, or you can just write print and sum, and you can press enter. So you can see here you are getting 19, right? So there are two ways you can print, or you can like show the value on the screen. Either you can write like this sum, or you can write this way as well. Okay, so this is the way of performing arithmetic operation.
Okay.
And now suppose if you want to check what is the type of sum, means you might be aware that see, in any programming language other than this Python, if you have a working experience on Java or C
Yeah.
language before, so you might be aware that that any variable we declare it as a data type. In Java, we declare integer, float,
Yes.
character, string, double,
Double.
right? So why we are not using this in Python? If we are using this in a Java, why we are not using in a Python?
Java is like a strictly type, right? And Python, you don't have strict type checking.
Yes. So Java, it's strictly type that you said,
Yeah.
correct? And Python programming is in dynamic nature. Python program
Dynamic.
dynamic in the nature, in the sense, like as you declare a variable sum and you assign a value 23 and you print it. So based on the value that you assign, it automatically find it out the type of the sum variable. But this is not in the case of Java. In Java, you have to tell integer sum
Mm-hmm.
is equal to 23.
Mm-hmm.
Then this, by this syntax, you are telling the compiler. Why do we write this? So that we are telling the compiler that I am having one variable sum holding the value 23, and it's giving an instruction to compiler that this sum variable is of an integer type. But
I
in
use a
it,
lot of JavaScript, so it's
Mhm.
very similar to that.
Yeah, in JavaScript we use var keyword. Okay, in
Var
var,
let constant. Yeah.
yeah, var let constant. So there also we don't require that. We that means if we declare it as a var, then it is a variable. The value can be
Uh-huh.
vary. But in Java, C language, C++, we have to declare the data type like integer, float, which
Uh-huh.
means not only tell you the type of value hold by variable, but it also decide how much memory they occupy in term of bytes.
Yes.
4 byte
Yes.
integer, 4 byte float, 4 byte character, 2
Float
byte,
takes more, double takes more than that.
yeah, string, a group of characters. So this is about variable this is called data type,
Yes.
right? And in Python, why do we not do this? Because Python is having not strictly type
Dynamic.
and it's a dynamic. Okay, so let's see here as well. So if you can see here, if I just write down type and I pass some, so you can see it's showing class int, right? It means that this some variable of integer type. Internally, they find it out that some variable is of an integer type. Okay. So like this, you can do it. Similarly, the above operation, you can do it inside this here. I was telling you about Python 2 as well, right? So let me explain. So now you can see here, we are getting an error, right? Why we are getting an error? You can see missing parenthesis in call to print. Because in Python 2, for printing anything, we have to write like this, print, and in a double quotes. We were writing like this in Python 2, which is completely deprecated from Python 3, Python 2. And Python 3 are not using any more such syntax. There are many things with our class. I will going to explain you the difference between Python 2 and Python 3. And so Python 3, how we print any name or like how we usually print within a double quotes and a parenthesis, we have to use it, right? And press enter. So you can see it's working fine, but why it's not working? Because this is the syntax of Python 2. In Python 2, we were writing like this to print anything. And you can do the sum in the parentheses as well. Like you can write down like 2 into 9 and press enter. So it will going to give you a value. And similarly, suppose you have a variable. Okay, so if you want to write like this, sum you have created above, sum is equal to sum plus 1 and press enter. So it is giving you 20, right? How you can modify or how you can write? There is another way of writing this. Do you know that how you can write this?
Yeah, sum plus plus.
Yeah, correct. So sum plus equal to 1, right? So
That you
say,
can also do.
yeah, so it will also going to give you value. And here again, we are doing that. So it is giving 21. This is called as a um, like modifying the like a variable. Here you are just another way of representing this expression, like sum is equal to sum plus 1. So while writing, you have to write sum plus whichever the variable
Equals.
is. Yeah. So in which scenario we do that? When we have a left hand side and right hand side same variable.
Yes.
Right. So this will going to be same for all, like subtraction, multiplication, division as well. Now let me create another variable. A is equal to 2.5. And let's see the type of A. So you can see the float is coming, right? Because it's a decimal value. Okay, one more thing. As I said you here, you might have seen one difference, one thing here, that in C language, Java, once you declare a variable, you cannot reuse that variable. Reuse means the sense reinitialize.
You cannot change the
we
type
cannot
of it.
reinitialize. Yeah, like here sum we have initialized with 19. So again, we cannot reinitialize some variable in the program. But in Python, it's a dynamic language. If you can reinitialize as well, like A is equal to 2.5, I can reinitialize with 3.5 as well, and I can print. So you can see we can reinitialize as well. So this is also one more thing that usually in the ask in the interview. Python, can you reinitialize a value here?
Yeah.
So answer is yes, because Python is dynamic language. Okay. Yes. So in this way, you can run several syntax. You can follow the document as well, and you can perform various operation in the Python. Now, there are some logical operation we're going to see. Let me create a variable t, and I'm assigning a value true to it. Similarly, can you on a same line, can you declare multiple variable? Have you ever tried?
I think you can, right, in Python?
Yeah. So like you can see, I create true variable, two variable I created here, and I'm assigning a value. So which one is for true and which one is for false? Which variable is holding true and which variable is holding false?
First one will be true, the second one will be false.
Yes. So in Python, you can create a multiple variable as well on the same line, and it will going to hold a value based on the which data you are in a sequence only, like t comma f equal to true and false. So t will be assigned with true and f will be assigned with a false. Now, just 1 minute. Now here, if you want to if you want to check the type of t and f, according to you, what you will get?
Boolean.
Yes. So if you just type here print type f, so you will also get a boolean because they are of boolean type. So you can perform a logical operation here. So how you're going to do the logical operation? So suppose print t, okay, and f, right? Just 1 minute. So you can see t and f, right? So let me close this. So you can see false, right? Boolean operation, how we are doing and operation. So this logical and means that when both the condition are true, then only you will get true, right? Logical and says what? Are you? I think you might be aware about this, right? Logical
Yeah.
and so logical
Yeah,
and yeah,
logical and means both of them has to be true. Otherwise,
yes,
it will return false. Or and then you have or also.
yeah. So logical and says that when both the condition are true, when both condition or both the variable values are true, then it will be true. Otherwise, in any case, it will be false. If any one of the condition is false, then it will going to give you result false. This is about logical and. When both condition are true, you can when both are true variable value, then it will be true. For the rest of them, it will be false. Similarly, you said absolutely correct. There is one more thing that is about logical or. So in the logical or, how we represent it, same thing is we will going to write it here. But in case of logical or, so in case of logical or says that if any one of the condition is true, then the result will be true. So if and it is applicable for when both condition are true, then also here when both condition are true, then it will be true. When any of the condition is when any of the condition is true, then it will be true. So now here both condition are false, So this will be obviously a false. But
False.
here, yeah, but here this condition is true and this one is false. So this will be true because
True.
as we said, any one of the condition is true, so will work. And again, here the first condition is true, so it will be coming true. So this is about the logical and or, right? So you can do this as well. So while printing, you can print it. Okay. uh, shall I clear this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sorry. One minute. Okay. Right. Yeah. So as we are saying here, um, if you want to check for or, so you can just first you declare a variable like s, t, and f equal to true and false. And if you want to perform logical or operation, you can write it like this: t or f. So it is printing true, right? T is true and this is false. So or says that with any one of the condition true, then it will be true. So based on the what we have seen here, it will going to be work here, right? True and false will be true. So this is about the logical and or operation. Now we're going to see length operation. Like suppose here I'm creating a variable here hello, and I am assigning a value. Right? If you want to find out the length of the whole string, this is a string. Hello is of string type, which is mean a group of a character, right? So if you want to check it for the length of hello, how you're going to find it out? You just have to call length function len, and to that you have to pass, sorry,
The string name.
print length and the name of variable hello, or yeah. So you can see it will be 14. It is
Nice.
5 space 6, then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right? It is counting the space as well. So it counts space also. So this length keyword, the length function will going to give you the length of your name. Okay. Now suppose if you want to print also any of the uh, string like this. The above one, hello, can also be write like this. Okay, sorry, hello is not defined. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, this is a string, not a variable. I was creating variable.
Yep.
So hello for hello Atinder, and this Atinder for this particular in a single quote, whatever you're going to write, it is printing as it is. So this plus operator is working as a concatenation here. Concatenation means it just going to append it after the string, right? So this is a way it will work. There is one more thing, like there are few functions are available in Python. Suppose if you want to capitalize your name, so how you can do this? Let's take one small variable h equal to Python. Okay. Okay. Sorry, in single quote I have to take it.
As a string.
Yes. So as a string, whenever we declare as a string, we have to take it as a, yeah. So this, I have declared the variable h and it is holding a Python. Now, suppose if you want to capitalize it, so there are functions are available. H dot capitalize. Okay. These are some predefined functions are available. You can play with this as well. Capitalize. So it will going to capitalize the first character. Okay, like here all are small. So now you can see the first one is get capital, right? But suppose if you want to convert the whole h into the uppercase, for that which function you will going to apply according to you? H dot upper.
Oh, I see.
Uppercase, right? So it will going to give you uppercase, like you can see here.
Okay.
Right. So this Python, it will go into uppercase. Now suppose if you want to add a space before the name, that also you can do it. For that you have to just use the function
you have to delete R also, right?
Sorry.
Oh, is it R just 3?
Yeah, means it's right. You are in the right, you are adding a space. For this just is used for adding a padding a space.
Okay.
So R is for right.
Okay.
Okay, in the right you want to add a space padding. So in the command prompt it's not visible, but when you run in text editor or in Jupyter Notebook and all, you can see that, like when you will going to do it. Similarly, let me try it for more than 3. So you can see here in the right you are getting it, right?
I see.
So these are the different way the function that you are getting. And so now one more thing, like this is about the normal variable that we created. What if that you want to create, if you want to save a multiple value on the same variable? For example, I'm creating one variable group. Now in this variable group, I wanted to hold a multiple value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might be aware about this.
Array, right?
Yeah, array, or we can say list. In Python, we call it as a list.
I see.
List is a group of an element. Okay, is here group is a variable which is holding a group of a data. So you can see a group, you can say a list. Yeah, in another programming, the list is a work like an array, like in Java, right? So now this is about the group, and you can refer every element in the group just like we do it in an array,
like an index.
Yes, like you can see group 1
is
when
index 0.
Yes, so an index 0 or index 1, it is present. So normally in the list,
I can also get length of also this, like we'll get length of string.
Yes. So this group variable is holding a value like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, or any value. Not only I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this value will having an index. It index start from 0. So the first one will have an index 0. Second one will have an index 1.
1, yeah.
And it will have an index 2. This will have index 3. And this will have index 4. This is about when you move from left to right. Okay, when you move in this direction. What if you want to print in the reverse direction? How you're going to print? So you just have to write group.
Length -1 or something, right?
Yeah, correct. So you just have to use a group here. The name of a variable. And in the reverse direction, so you will going to take it in a negative -1, press enter. So you can see the last element is 5, right? And that you are talking about the length, right? So length. So you can see the length of list group also, you can find it out, that is holding 5 element. This is not telling you the 5 data. First one is telling you the data 5 from the last, and the length of group will going to tell you the length of a list group.
Also, group -1 will actually give you the last index.
Yes, -1 will going to give you the last index. Similarly, if you write -2, you will get 4. So means when you want to process in a reverse direction, you have to take in a minus. It will going to start from minus. But when you move in the like from left to right in an original way, then you have to take like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this direction. But in case of reverse direction, okay, when you are moving in this direction, then what will be the index? It will having an index -1. It will having an index -2. It will have an index -3. It will have index -4 and -5. So list is here. What arrays? What can you tell me, like array? Usually we use it, but normally we call it what array. Okay, so array or list is actually a data structure. Array.
It's a data structure, correct?
Yeah. So why it's a data structure? Because you are manipulating the data, you are storing the data on this, and you are performing a multiple operation on the data. So you are playing with the data, you are manipulating the data. So it's a data structure. Data structure says how you, yeah, you have any question?
No.
Okay. So data structure says how you organize the data, manipulate the data, right? So here also we are organizing the data and we are manipulating the data. So this is called as a data structure. In Python, the data structure is list, tuple, set. In Java, we have an array, or in Java also we have a array list, hash map, and all collections. So like this we use it.
I see.
Now, if you want to append to the group, suppose if you want to add any value to the group, how you can do that? So group dot append function, and you add 6 to it, press enter. Now you just type group. So you 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So you can add an element as well. So this append function will going to add an element also. This is about
like a push.
Yeah, it's like a push. Good. It's like a push. Similarly, if I do it, group dot pop. So it will going to pop the last element. Now I will going to write a group. So you can see again you got the same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So whenever for pop, you don't have to tell pop function that which data you have to remove. If you know the yeah, if you know the concept of stack, so pop does was it remove the last element from the stack, right?
First and last out.
Yes. So it will go into remove that. So whichever the element present in the last, we're going to remove first. So the last element will be removed first. So that's why when I pass or when I call pop function, it remove the last one. Now this is about same. Yeah, but the difference, what is the difference between the list and array? Do you know about it?
The difference between list and array, or list and stack?
List and array.
I'm not sure.
So array is what? Okay, let me tell you. Now can you tell me the difference?
So list, you can have the same type. Array, you can have multiple types.
No. In arrays of a homogeneous type. Array is a homogeneous data structure, means all the elements should be of same data type, but list is not. Yeah. So in the list, you can save a data of a different data type, and that's a kind of a variation and dynamic things that is added in the Python programming. That here, this question is also usually asked in the interview. What is the difference between the array and Python programming? So you can note down this as well. Let me rub this. Right. So I'm writing this uh, explanation here as well, so that when I will going to share it in a GitHub, you can watch it and you can look into this once. Okay. So this is about list, right? Like how you can, there are many operations you can do it in a list. Suppose if you want to process the element, okay, if you want to process element from index 2 to 4, how you can process it? 2:4 you have to pass. Now you can see
not included.
Yes. So it will going to print you from the index 2 to 3, but 4 1 it is not including. Why? Because it follow n-1 rule. Okay. N-1 rule means it will going to start from the index 2 only, right? Because in 0 1 2, right? So index 2 is 3, this 3 will be 4, and 4 will be 5, right? Means in index 4 you will have a 5, but as I said you, list follow n-1 rule. So it will going to run from the from the starting index 2 till 3. It will not going to run till 4. It will going to run from the starting index 2 till 3, because it follow n-1. So it will not go till the last index. It will go till n-1 of 4. So n-1 of 4 means what? 3. So whichever element present at index 2 and 3, it will going to print. Is it clear?
Yes.
Suppose you want to print everything from the starting index 2, then you don't have to pass any AND index. You can just type. So see, it can print all the element. Similarly, if you want to print from starting till index 3, you can just write down here. So it will going to print from starting till index 3. Now you can see here as well why it is showing you 1, 2, 3 only when I pass the index 3, because it follow n-1 rule in the end side on your the last end side, means from where you want to go and where you want to reach. So whenever you pass the end one, that will follow n- rule. So if you see in the index 3, 4 is present, but we are not getting that because it follow n-1 rule here.
I see.
So this is the way you can access the element. What we are trying to learn today, that how you can access the element of a list data structure in Python, how you can save different data type, different data in the Python, and how you can access it efficiently, right? So this is about the manipulation of a data and data structure, right? Similarly, one more thing you can do it here. So you can
give
see,
you all of them.
yeah. So once you write this, it will going to print in the -1. It will going to do what? It will going to print 0, 1, 2, 3, or like it will going to print all the element except the last one. What do you mean by this? It doesn't, this mean, don't take it that -1 means it will going to start printing from the reverse. No, this mean that it will going to print all the element except the last one, -1. Yeah. So -1 telling here you print all except the last one. This you remember it, because in our data science or data engineering Spark and all, when we're going to run the code, this will going to help when you want to leave any column. Suppose you have a data, okay, in the data you have a 4 column, you want to consider all the column except the last one, then you can run this code. So it will going to take all the column except the last one, which we say in machine learning as a target variable that we have to predict. Okay. So this is about list data structure. So you go through this today. I will going to start looping part and condition part tomorrow.
That sounds good.
Because Herman is not there, he will find difficulty in learning looping and if condition. So I hope what we have seen today is clear to you. You at least, as you are already aware, so it won't be difficult. Just go through it once, and I will upload whatever the content that I have shown you, this one in the GitHub, the link and lectures YouTube, I have already shared it. You can watch it there in case anything that you want to clear the doubt.